Do you remember this Kullervo? This was a while back when he was first released. Then I followed up with the damage cap Slam Lervo. Oh yeah, very satisfying, 2 billion damage, everything goes kabloomies. Even though with the current slam changes, Kullervo did not even get affected because of his collective curse. Then I made the Kullervo that nukes with snipers, and all of those builds were done with no augment and barely any strength. It was just proper modding and synergy. And of course, now we have received an actual useful quality of life mod for Kullervo. Yes, the other one doesn't exist, don't worry about that. It's mostly a good thing, but it does have one flaw. What's good, folks? It's NightmareFrame here with a new Warframe video, taking a look at the latest Kullervo augment, Volatile Recompense. First, let's explain what the core ability does, and then follow up with how the augment affects it. Once you activate Recompense, you unsheath daggers from your body that expand and orbit you as they seek out any nearby targets. If they hit targets, they grant you overguard and combo counter, while also dealing slash damage and a guaranteed slash proc. It's synergized with a start ability to spread out the damage to any cursed target. And if the daggers don't hit anything during their unsheath, the daggers return and deal damage back to you. The combo counters increase with combo count increase mods like Quickening, True Punishment, and even Zaw Arcanes like Exodia Triumph. The great thing about the daggers is they don't require line of sight and can bypass terrain to hit their targets. Now, the augment. This will have the daggers continuously orbit you and constantly seek out enemies to strike and grant you overguard and combo. This regularly refreshes your overguard and passively provides you with combo. And it also has the addition of dealing blast damage and its status effect. There is a slight change of pace. Prior to this, you would cast the ability on cursed enemies and grant you a large combo increase. However, this augment deploys a singular dagger that actively seeks out an enemy, then returns to repeat the process rather than launching multiple daggers simultaneously. This reduces the amount of combo gain in favor of great overguard maintenance that makes you nearly unkillable. And with all of this, you unfortunately cannot recast this ability until the duration has run out. Now that you know what's happening, let's take a look at what we got with this Kullervo build. Alright, here we are taking a look at the build. I'm using everything in my arsenal to give me great utility and more damage. And depending on how you play and where you want to play, your weapons can change. So use this as a template. That's something that people do not understand. I do have a Grimoire for the initial burst in strength and my Madurai Focus School for another burst in strength and casting speed. I performed 2 quick Void Slings to give me sling strength. And of course, once you transference back into your Warframe, you gain casting speed. So you don't have to Void Sling everywhere. Just aim it at the ground. 2 Void Slings. You're done. Toss your Grimoire. You'll see yourself getting 60% strength. Cast Uru. Recompense. Alright, and that's it. You give yourself some combo. And then start the onslaught. That's about it. How did you get here? Just make sure to tag everybody with your collective curse. See how they're all taking damage. That means once you do your heavy attack with Wrathful Advance, boom, everything just dies. That's pretty much it. I have consistent energy regen. I can spam my abilities. And of course, with the new augment, I always have overguard. So let's take a look at how we put all of this together. Starting off with the Archon Shards. Because this is a melee setup, we're going to buff that melee damage to the next level with the purple shards. These grant me crit damage. However, if your energy is over 500, this is max energy, not your current energy. Over 500, you will gain double the effect of these Archon Shards. So as you can see, 641 energy. I get double the effect of this critical damage. He already has insane amounts of crit chance with his Wrathful Advance. So when you crit, you are multiplying all of that damage. And now for the Helminth, we went with Uru. This gives me energy, and the viral elemental damage multiplier. So I'm able to go for negative efficiency, spam my abilities, and not have to worry about running out of energy. Now here's the thing you have to know with my setup. It is built around a synergy. If you do anything else, it might not work the same. So let's have a look at my melee weapon, because this is the important part. I'm running a Zaw Dagger. The reason we're running a Zaw Dagger because daggers are the fastest when it comes to wind-up speed, so it's instantaneous. So let's compare this to any other weapon and show you the difference. Dagger, that's how fast the dagger is. And for the Nakana, we're also going to run Amalgam Organ Shatter, and let's even put Killing Blow for even more wind-up speed, and Elementalist for even more wind-up speed. So we have to do all of that, and it's still slower than the dagger. So we had to sacrifice quite a lot just to give it enough wind-up speed. Even though Kullervo's passive gives him all of that wind-up speed, the weapon does matter if you're going to use his Wrathful Advance to quickly close the gap and nuke enemies. This is why we're using the Shayura's Wrath here, built from the Bala Strike, the Pei Grip, and the Varji 2 Jai. I've been using this dagger for years, and as you can see, it is my most used melee. This is my boy, alright? So let's have a look at how I've actually built the Balaza with the mods itself. Now, starting off with the Arcanes. At the bottom, we have Melee Exposure. This grants me the Corrosive Elemental Damage Multiplier on my melee weapon whenever I cast an ability. It stacks up to 240%. So whenever I cast my Wrathful Advance, or my Collective Curse, or even my Helminth ability, this Arcane will stack up. And this will pair with the modded element I have as well, the Corrosive Elemental Damage. And then for my Exodia Arcane, this is the Zaw Arcane. That's why we have 2 Arcanes. Watch people skip to this point and be like, wait, why do you have 2 Arcanes? There you go. On heavy attack, we gain energy. This is not energy per heavy attack, it's energy regeneration rate, and it stacks up to 3 times. And this is multiplied by your Helminth ability, which is Nourish. I previously had Exodia Triumph, but I didn't really need this anymore. So let's see how this actually looks like. So let's start with Nourish. Okay. Look at that energy regen right there. That's just 1 stack. We do the 2nd stack. The 3rd stack. Look at that energy. That's juicy right there, right? Hell yeah. So this allows you to spam your abilities even though we're negative efficiency. Moving on, we have Prime Pressure Point. This is our base damage. I'll also have an Arcane on my Warframe, which will be additive to this, because we're not proccing any status effects to run Condition Overload. It's just pure raw damage for instantaneous damage. Galvanized Steel, we don't really care about the crit chance. It's more for the critical damage once you stack it up. Galvanized Reflex, this gives me heavy attack efficiency, but also grants me initial combo. You can swap this out for Focus Energy. Pretty much the same thing. The other mod is Reflex Coil. This gives you 60% heavy attack efficiency, but nothing else. Moving on, I do have Organ Shatter here. If you want a bit more wind-up speed to make your daggers even faster, you have Amalgam Organ Shatter. To be honest, since we're using a dagger, did not see the need for this mod at all. And then finally, I have True Punishment. This gives me 100% additional combo count chance gain. So my recompense or any of my strikes paired with Collective Curse will greatly boost my combo count chance gain. Now you may have noticed I do have a free slot here. This is a flex slot. You can run pretty much anything you want. You can run your Riven, or you can swap out Organ Shatter with Amalgam Organ Shatter and run Gladiator Might. You can do that. Or if you want a bit more combo, you can also run Quickening. This gives you combo count chance gain, pretty much like True Punishment without the negative. You can even add a faction damage multiplier. Or if you want additional elemental damage like heat, cold, or for even more base damage, you can run Killing Blow. Killing Blow also gives you more heavy attack base damage and heavy attack wind-up speed. So this slot is free and up to you. You deal crazy amounts of damage with this setup alone. Now moving on to the Kullervo build itself. For the Arcanes, I have Arcane Fury. On critical hit, hey, we're always critting with Kullervo. You gain 180% melee base damage. And Molt Augmented. This grants me 60% strength after 250 kills. In the aura, I have Corrosive Projection, minus 18% armor. For those wondering about Steel Charge, You can use this. This will save you some capacity, and it'll give you 60% base damage, which will be additive to all your other base damage increases. However, Curse Projection is just going to be way better for overall content. Now, for the strength increases, I have Power Drift, Blind Rage, and Umbral Intensify. You can swap Power Drift to Preparation if you want Initial Energy. To be honest, didn't need that because I have Nourish. Activate Nourish, pop an energy pad, and it pretty much fills up right away. I have Archon Stretch and Augur Reach. You want to have 175% range for your collective curse. I have Archon Stretch instead of regular stretch because of my Panzer Vopal. It's able to trigger this for energy maintenance, Prime Flow for the large energy pool, which also doubles my critical damage with the purple shards, Equilibrium for the orb pickup conversion, and then finally to maintain my buffs, we got Primed Continuity. And then finally, Volatile Recompense, which pretty much gives me God Mode and the constant combo. Now let's move on to my utility weapons. The primary can be whatever you want. If you're in the Void, the Miter is going to be your best friend. The only reason is because of neutralizing Justice. And always make sure that your guns have the Dexterity Arcanes for the combo duration. And the primary is also going to have Amalgam Serration for the sprint speed. So pair the sprint speed increase from your primary and Dispatch Overdrive, you're going to be moving pretty fast. For example, we're sprinting with Kullervo right now. This allows us to cover a lot of distance and move a lot faster. If you're anywhere else, you're going to use the Rauta. The Rauta is perfect for Kullervo as it allows you to build up combo with just shooting enemies. Boom, combo duration. And the other thing is, the unique trait also gives you combo duration. So if you want even more combo, this is a great way to have it with Kullervo. So you use your collective curse, shoot enemies, boom, 12 times combo. Then for my secondary, it's the Grimoire, or the Thrilling Tales of the Dragon Slayer. Good God. For those who got it, you're friggin' weebs. Anyway, the main thing here is Vom Invocation. The alternate fire, the big electric ball, once it ticks and hits multiple enemies, it stacks up to 60% strength, and that will snapshot to any of your abilities. And of course, the Dexterity Arcane. So, have a look. Alternate fire, boom, 60%. You have your Materai, boom. The strength increasing your overguard gain, and your damage. Now moving on to my companion, the bestest of boys, the Panzer Vopal. Hell yeah, look at that good boy. This setup is just for Kullervo. Viral Quills to spit up Viral, Martyr Symbiosis for your skill issue, Panzer for the Panzer skill issue, Vitality for the Panzer's health. We're not running Link Vitality because it's going to be a lot less because Kullervo doesn't have that much health, you see? Look at the difference. So we run Enhanced Vitality instead. Duplex Bond, so it splits up, does its thing. Tenacious Bond to increase critical damage even more if your companion has over 50% crit chance, and I'll show you how that's done. Scent Deconstruct, enemies injured, so whenever it pew-pews its viral, this counts. More health orbs, more energy. Tandem Bond, if your companion hits enemies, you gain combo. So you have passive combo from your second ability, and your companion can also give you some combo. And because we're always dealing melee damage, Pack Leader is able to give my companion overguard and always be alive. Now for the Panzer Claws, you can see the build hasn't changed. Bite is allowing me to go over 50% crit chance, so this is immediately triggering our Tenacious Bond. So if we have a look over here, Tenacious Bond is active. Shocking Claws is what allows me to benefit from Archon Stretch. So have a look. Right there, Archon Stretch is triggered. I get passive energy regen. And you pair that up with Exodia Brave. What? I'm always topped up. I can spam my abilities like crazy. Not have to worry about anything. Always topped up. This Kullervo build is all about pure comfort and dealing a lot of damage. Anyway, folks, that has been it from me. I do have enjoyed and learned something from this video. And if you did, please feel free to leave a like, share, and subscribe for more Warframe content, streams, and so much more. Do refer to the description. Thanks for watching, and as always, a peace. Bye-bye now.